Well, hello, friends, and welcome to From Busy to Rich, the podcast designed to help inspire people to increase their profitability and quality of life, not just for them, but also for those that they serve. With you today is your host, Wes Young, and myself, Justin Lakin. We're also joined by a very special guest. Whether you're like me and you love a great steak or you prefer delicious fresh baked bread with the most addictive honey butter you've ever had, either way, you're in for a treat. And with that, Wes, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest to those that may not be having the fortunate opportunity to actually watch this on YouTube or recognize who this is with us.
Yeah, no, thanks, Justin. I'm super excited today. Our guest is a great friend of mine, and one of the best thinkers I think that I know in the business world today. Jerry Morgan is the president and CEO of Texas Roadhouse, and if you've not had the opportunity to visit a Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse, you are in for a treat, and because it is one of the best places you can go, one of the most beloved restaurant franchises in the world, I believe, and they've got a lot of great things just about the culture of the organization, the leadership in the organization, and then just the everything from the food quality to the experience you get to have is just second to none. So I'm excited though, because just like that we are all business owners, most of you that listen to this podcast, we have so much that we will be able to learn today from Jerry and from his team. And Jerry, I just want to first just say thank you for taking your time to be a part of the podcast today, my brother. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, and appreciate all the very kind things you just said.
Absolutely. So Jerry, I would, for the benefit of our listeners, you and I have had the opportunity to talk deeply about a lot of these things, but I would love it if you would talk about just the state of like Roadhouse today and kind of your life, kind of a year in life or week in life of you as it sits today. And then I'd love it if you could spend some time like going back, because sometimes people observe what a thing is in a snapshot in time, or where a leader is in a snapshot of time, and just get completely disconnected with the road they had to travel to get there. And I just love your story, and I love Roadhouse's story and the evolution that took place. So I'd love if you just speak to that for us.
All right. Well, I'll give it my best. Thanks again. I've been a roadie for 27 plus years, and my journey with Texas Roadhouse, and I did. I'll go back a little bit. Just started at Burger King and did a little Bennigan's, but my journey at Roadhouse started as a managing partner, a single unit operator in Grand Prairie, Texas. I opened the first store in the state of Texas. I was a single unit operator again as a managing partner, meaning that I had to write a check to be a part of this company, to get my job. And that entitled me to some ownership and partnership in this company. And I think that's still a huge driver. And to get to do, I was the 24th store open in our company. I started when we had 10 stores, and I was the first store in the state of Texas. And right now we have 75 strong in Texas. Has been very good to us. And then, so I was a managing partner for 3 years. I was a market partner for 15 some years, and which means that I had a turf that I was building additional restaurants. I would find the real estate. I would hire the managing partner, and the team would help them train and get all of that. And then hopefully open the business. And then I would move on to the next project. And we were opening 3 or 4 stores for myself at that time. So I was pretty busy at that point in time, not only trying to maintain, but to grow. And it was a really growth time for us. And then I got promoted to a regional. And I think when I say, as you'll hear my story, it's because I've always had a mindset that I attack sales and I control costs, and I create a culture where people want to do their job and do it at a high level. I have a head coach mentality. It's like, I will, if you're going to come work for me, I expect the best that you can be. And I will partner with you all the way, but there are expectations in that side of it. And I guess as I look back now, some of that mindset and that toughness that comes along with, telling people the truth and being honest with them about what I think they can do, and they're not giving me everything, was helpful. Not everybody could deal with that, but a lot that could. And then I became a regional. I was running 130 restaurants in 13 states. Based out of Dallas, and And, again, having success, continuing to grow the business and do the things. And obviously throughout the years, I got the attention of our founder and our CEO and the chairman of the board, Mr. Kent Taylor, which was a real privilege and honor to be in the restaurant industry and to have the opportunity to work for Kent Taylor. And back when I was with Bennigan's, we competed with Brinker and Norman Brinker, and to know a real true restaurant person. It was a fun time back then when Chili's and TGI Fridays and Bennigan's were really going head to head. And again, I think some of the conversations and over the years, I got to know our founder. He really liked my approach. He liked that I was focused on attacking sales and being an entrepreneur and doing things the Roadhouse way, but doing them my way too at the same time. And he started talking to me about potentially coming to Kentucky and learning the corporate side of the business and being the president and starting that journey a little bit. And I didn't know for sure. You never really knew if Kent was serious or not, because he used to like to plant seeds and see how you would respond to that. I think sometimes in my conversation with him is like, I think he just told me that I'm going to be having a bigger role to play in this company. And then he wanted to see how I would respond. It's like, oh, am I in? Am I good? Or am I going to all right. I told him one time, I said, yeah, that's all cool, but I'm going back to work tomorrow and do my job. If you have bigger plans for me, that's great, but I have a job to do right now and I'm focused on that job. And I think he always loved that attitude that I had about, hey, boss, I hear you, and I'm excited about it. I'll keep that in the back of my mind, but ultimately, I need to be the best that I can be at the job that I'm doing. You're currently asking me to do, and through that, you just grow and learn. And then we did make the decision. I came to Louisville and moved from Texas, and that was December 17th of 2020. So kind of coming out of the pandemic, I came up here and my intention was to work with him for a couple of years. We'd see how I did, if I could adapt to the corporate world, and then maybe he would step aside and I would take over. So that was kind of the plan. And so those first 4 months as president, I was just really working here in the support center and getting to know people. And I was doing these 30-minute rotations, just really learning about how this support center functions, because I've always seen it from the field, but not necessarily from this side of the street. I always had a lot of respect for the people that I worked with here, but it's a different job. And so I was learning a whole bunch. And, the tragic day that I got the phone call that Ken had left the earth and that he had named me as the CEO of the company to take over, something that was his life's work, his passion. And so it was pretty heavy. It was pretty heavy that, he put a piece of paper, he tore it out of a legal pad, a piece of paper with my name, naming me the CEO on March 18th of 2021. And so that was kind of it's an intimidating role to step in after a founder who wasn't there to help you through the process. So I guess he trusted me. He believed in whatever philosophies I had. And so, I'm trying to heal from understanding and losing my friend and my mentor and my partner to running the company. And at that time, we were a $5.5 billion company, and we were still growing. We were rebuilding out of the pandemic and all of that. So I just went to work. I continued to respect him and his legacy, everything that he taught me, all of the beliefs of Roadie Nation and being a roadie, and all of our mission of legendary food and legendary service, our core values of a passion to do the job, understanding that we're all partners in this thing and we need to work together to become as big and fast, as strong as we can be, and have integrity, do things the right way, and have a culture of fun with purpose. And so those are our core values that we really have leaned on. People would always ask me, what are you going to change? Like, I don't want to change anything. If I have to evolve and grow, then we will do that. But we're going to keep the fundamental core values that Kent taught us to carry this machine on. And, here we are several years later, 3 years later or so. And as a CEO who, it's really about, to me, it's been about building a team around me at the C-suite and sitting at the board table that is all in on the company's success, not individual titles, not any of that stuff. When you start thinking more about what it means, what makes you look like, And then you're barking down the wrong tree. You need to be all in on the company's success. I mean, this was Kent's life work. It's now my work. It's my job to carry on that legacy and to do things with as true to those statements. So I'll tell you, the weeks change, the days change. They start early, they run late, and your phone is ringing. And my job is to answer the phone. My job is to be there for people who have questions and concerns or just want to talk about the world and work through that. But it is also about making decisions. And I mean, Kent used to have a philosophy: don't be a flat squirrel. You'd run out in the middle of the road and freeze and then get run over. So when I took, I'll tell you, when I took the assessment that we from Dan Lumpkin on a CEO, and they compared me to many other CEOs, and I don't know, 27 pages of reports about how our predictive index and all of that. In the very first paragraph, it said bold, aggressive, decisive. I said, well, I like that. I can live with that. And, but again, those are strengths. Bold, aggressive, decisive are very big strengths. That's a head coach mentality. But I have to learn how to do the softer side. I had to learn the emotional intelligence and all of that piece of it. So it's a constant hunger to grow as a person, to grow as a leader, and to respect those around me, I think, are what really drive me. We're in a people business. We serve steaks and potatoes and ice cold beer, but we're a people first company that just happens to serve steak. So that's kind of our philosophy.
That's awesome, Jerry. Thank you so much for sharing that. The some things I want to jump back into that you mentioned along the way that I've had the opportunity to observe from my seat looking in, and it came up a couple times in what you just said. Is this fundamental? I mean, this idea that when you said, I just know I needed to do my job well at this level. Now, there could be future things out there that you're going to get the opportunity to do, and that's great. But in life, no matter what's going on, what the circumstances, how you're feeling, even when we lost Kent, and a lot of the emotion of losing your friend and a mentor and the new, but I have to go ahead and make decisions to do this job well right now. And a lot of times, my observation, and this is true for all the advisors out there listening, so many times they get so focused on this next new thing, the new shiny object, whatever it might be out there, that they fail to be faithful stewards over what's in their hand. Are you doing the thing that you've already said you do, what the standards are? Are you doing that well? And I see this as you guys implementing it up and down the organization, because even when you're starting someone brand new in the organization, what I love about Roadhouse is you guys have such clearly defined standards of excellence. Is nobody comes in wondering, well, what is it like to be a great hostess? Or a host. What is it like to be a great in the kitchen? What is it like to be a great server? Well, here are the things that are the components of making this up. And wild success in this role, you can have a lot of fun with it and you can dance around with it, but these are kind of non-negotiables that have to come with it. So I'd love if you just talk a little bit around those things.
Yeah, I think that's called discipline. And it's a commitment to your belief system and to, you said, faithful steward. Am I a faithful steward to the standards of our company and that were set forth? And that means that am I coaching legendary food, and am I talking about high level service with legendary service and serving with heart? I think the disciplines around that, it's easy. We're getting a lot of accolades right now. A lot of people are saying wonderful things about us. And I was just in a meeting yesterday talking to every multi-unit person in our team, and it's like, we should be extremely proud of everything everybody is saying about us. But we got to go to work today. We got to continue to fight. Do we still have enough fight in us to continue to defend all of our reputation? So, and that all comes back to the fundamentals, the clarity of expectations and our vision. And so I think that's the hardest part as a leader. Sometimes you can kind of look at what's the next great thing. I call those limited time offers. And what's the shiny as your obstacle? We don't do limited time. We don't do anything like that. We just fundamentally execute food and service. And then we get in our communities and become great partners. We don't advertise a dime on TV advertising. Every time you see other competitors out there, I mean, they're spending millions and millions of dollars to do that. We go out in the community. We bring you some bread and some butter and shake your hand and say, hey, if you're ever doing an event or anything like that, don't forget about us. And So that's a key component. We're food service community partnership, and that's really been the key drivers to who we are, and we're not going to walk away from that.
No, that is absolutely awesome, and that really time tested principle: be faithful over little, you'll become ruler over much. And I've seen that throughout your organization, and same thing with great advisors is what are the fundamentals that you believe about your business right now? Because if you don't know those, you've inherited a way forward and you haven't even defined it, and it may not be a good inheritance. It may be something that you need to redefine what excellence looks like, and then make sure are we actually living that. The other thing you said, which my observation between like a Roadhouse and some of your competitors out there that would consider themselves in the same niche, is predominantly throughout the organization, it is this atmosphere of loving the battle, loving the fight, loving the process of what you do. Not just, yes, the outcome's good, but the outcomes take care of themselves when you love the process. And like you said, your head coach mentality of saying, we're going to have fun right where we are on our way to where we're going. Not once we hit this, but that'll be a good celebration. But we love the battle, love the fight. So is any thoughts around that?
Well, I tell you, you're right on. We have to love the moment and what we do. It can be mundane. I mean, every day we come in, we cook the same food, we serve it to different people. So, to me, it is almost like it's a new game. Today's a new game, and we're playing the restaurant game at a high level. Can we greet people at the front door? Can we have fun? Do we have energy? Are we as hungry today for continued success as we were the last 31 years? So I think that's my job, is to make sure that people are still inspired to come to work every single day, to be proud of the brands that they represent, which is Texas Roadhouse, Bubba's 33, and Jaggers, and our company, right? There's the restaurant side, there's the corporate side, but all of that together is company. And I talk a lot about partner up and that in the support center, about how do we, when the operators call and they need something, are we there to listen and to help them solve a problem? And are we listening? Are we really identifying with what their needs are? Because they typically out there, you got an employee that needs something, or a guest that needs something, or a vendor that needs something. And are we responding promptly to that? Because they've got to get back to, up until 4:00 in the afternoon, there's just employees there. But once the guests show up, we're hosting a party. And we're greeting people. When you invite people to your home, you greet them at the front door. You make sure that they have a beverage, that you host them and you show them love and hospitality. That's what we're trying to instill in all of our roadie nation, is that, listen, once the door's unlocked and the guest shows up, we're playing a different game. We're playing high level hospitality. And that means if you're prepping the food, cooking the food, or serving the food, or you're greeting the guest, or you're serving them a ice cold beer, whatever, you're doing it with a smile on your face. And the energy, we're rowdy, I guess you would say. We're a little different vibe. We got peanuts, we've got that kind of stuff, but the country music. And when I see employees that are singing to the song, or got a little pep in their step, that's good to me. Now, we do have people to tell us to turn the music down and that we're too loud, but we try to be very careful, because that's who we are.
Right.
But America is voting that they kind of like that.
Yeah.
And there are times of the day that we lower it, but that music is our energy and that comfort of who we are. So you got to also sometimes be strong enough and bold enough to stand up for who you are and who you represent. And it may not be for everybody, but I believe with our made from scratch food, our hand cut steaks, and our energetic, enthusiastic serving. I mean, when you're serving people, you got to be hustling. I mean, that you got to have a little pep in your step, and the music kind of helps us with that. But exceed people's expectations, partner up, and hustle to help are three phrases that I like to use a lot.
Yeah, and I even like, Jerry, you guys, it's talking about just putting reminders everywhere you can. That, like on all the servers that are running around, they have on the back of their shirts, "I love my job," and they act like it, and which is so imperative. But just those little things, because every server's running around and every other server sees the other back of the server, and they're reminded, "Oh, I love my job. I love my job." And how many places could we put in place little reminders, whether that's a quote on your desk, whether that is a something that a reminder that pops up on your calendar, and doing the kind of work that the advisors do to just go, hey, are you loving the battle? Are you loving the fight? Because if not, go play a different game, because life's too short to not play a game that you love. And it's not about just getting to this point. It's about enjoying the journey along the way and being faithful over that journey. The other thing I say, and we can probably end on this, Jerry, is with as much success as you guys have had, and how many roadhouses are there across the world right now? I know you're in other countries and everything.
Well, we have 650 domestically. We have 50 Bubba's. We have 55 international. So we're 764 total count in 11 countries.
Incredible. And what I love too is with all even with the core original brand Roadhouse, as that you guys still don't stop. You've got an R&D department, and you're always saying, okay, let's figure out what could be next that we could really do. And that's where things like Jaggers and Bubba's 33 really evolved. And I'm looking forward to you putting one of those in Cedar Park. We still need, I mean, it seems like I know the CEO, so I should be able to get one of those, here pretty quickly. Because
I think we got a Roadhouse coming close to you. We might have a Jaggers. We're sniffing around for a Jaggers down there.
Okay. I just want all three. I think they're going to go well here. So no, but that spirit, which is, it's super easy to rest with what got you where you are. That spirit that also says, hey, we're going to look for how do we make things better, and the fanning the flame of that, and then trying stuff. And I know killing stuff when you say it's not working. How is that blended into the rhythm of the culture of Roadhouse?
Yeah, I mean, we test a lot of different things, but it's really hard to take anything off of our menu. We have kept the menu pretty simple, so it's good. It's easier for us to execute. Nothing is perfect, but I mean, we haven't really changed a whole lot. We're playing with some things and doing some tests with different, but it's really hard to make our menu. I know we took baked beans off maybe 10, 12 years ago, and we put on corn, and it's a much healthier option. Our guests really like it. And before that, we had trout and we put on shrimp. Other than that, we haven't changed. Yeah. We still got our great sirloin offering and ribeye. And so from that, we might try some combo differences, but really and truly, we don't have to do a whole lot, because fortunately for us, we got it right off the bat. And if people really like what they like, and we do add a couple of things here and there but we don't do a lot but we, on the other concepts, obviously Bubba's gives us flexibility to try a few things, and Jaggers does too. And so they're fun to play with a little bit from that, but they are successful businesses in their own right.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, Jerry, I can't thank you enough. Thanks for being a part of our show today. And I think everybody that's listened is taking away a lot of nuggets here, to very transferable into their practices. So appreciate you, my friend. And thanks for being a part of what we did.
Wes, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And that little logo right there, TXRH, is a place to be. Let's go, Roadhouse.
That's it.
Yeah. And for all of you listening, thank you guys for joining us today. We really hope it was beneficial for you. It's really such great lessons from Jerry today. If you want to be great in any business, be good at the fundamentals, create great partnerships, listen for and anticipate needs so you can exceed expectations. If you like this, we encourage you to head over to our website, westyounglive.com. You can access a bunch more resources. And if you're interested or you're another advisor and you're interested in attending one of our courses, we've actually just launched the new Transform Learning Series. It's not too late to jump in. Hope to see you there. Thank you all, and bless you.